Hey, everyone. You are welcome back. I just quickly wanted to give very brief update on the war that Israel has been thrown into by terrorist Hamas. I really cannot tell exactly what the obsession with Israel is, because if we look around the world, if you are alive, you will take note and not really ignore or miss the various other places in the world where real people, real inhuman situations are going on. But the majority of the world would rather focus on Israel, divert attention away from where help is actually needed, from where real genocide, apartheid, oppression, destruction, chaos, anarchy, wickedness, ruthlessness, massacre, and the unaliving of people are taking place actively. But they would rather narrow it, focus, broadcast Israel. I just wanted to quickly share. I don't know if I will be able to show all of his speech. That's amazing, incredible human being, Douglas Murray, who speaks nothing but truth and facts. I want to quickly share one of his recent views with you as Israel resumes the war. Hamas broke all the ceasefire deals, and the war has begun again. While the the cowards, basically, the terrorist Hamas is, they've all taken off their uniforms. Remember all the parade, all the show of might and strength and victory, where they were parading even the corpses of babies that they took their lives. Right now, all those show is over. They've all run back into their tunnels, put on civilian clothes, blended into the rest of the terrorists in that place. Let's take a look at Douglas Murray and see what he's got to share with us.
I'm Douglas Murray. This is Direct Address. The war in Gaza has restarted, as you have probably learned from the incredibly unbiased headlines which have filled the world's media. The BBC decided to go with the headline, Israel breaks ceasefire. The Guardian newspaper has gone with, Israel strikes that shattered ceasefire. The Washington Post has gone with, Israel breaks Gaza ceasefire. And CNN with, Gaza ceasefire shattered as Israel launches strikes. What all of these news media seem to have ignored is that it actually isn't Israel that has shattered the ceasefire this week. It's Hamas that has been shattering the ceasefire since the agreement to have the ceasefire was first signed. It's Hamas that has repeatedly broken all of the rules of this deal, not least in its obscene parades of Israeli hostages. That includes the Hamas dead baby parades, where they brought out the coffins of Israeli babies that they murdered and paraded them in front of cheering Gazan crowds. The Trump administration and its envoy to the region, Mr. Steve Witkoff, has said this week that there is a deal on the table, a ceasefire deal that's meant to hold, and that Israel has agreed to it, but it's Hamas that has rejected the deal. And you'd think that that would count for something. The deal's on the table, but amazingly enough, it's Hamas that isn't playing ball. Of course, Hamas could not just make sure the ceasefire continues, but could make sure that the war halts altogether by doing something which I've said they could have done from day one, which is to release the Israeli hostages who they kidnapped from their homes on the 7th of October 2023. Hamas is still believed to be holding around 24 living Israeli hostages, And those hostages include 21-year-old Edan Alexander from the US. Indeed, he's from New Jersey.
Well, for time, as you may be aware, I do not like to have my videos to be very long. So we will stop there and probably pick it up some other time. So Douglas Murray has actually shared a lot of vital information. The war has begun again, and yet again, the lying legacy, corrupt, useless media of the world. It's Israel. Israel is the one that broke the ceasefire. Israel is resumed fighting just because they want to fight, isn't it? That's what those people would present. It's such a shame. And where do they really get their information from? The same terrorists who started this whole war that was uncalled for. So, those of you who are running around painting and sharing lies, propaganda, deception about Israel, all because you hate the Jews, the joke is on you. I am so grateful to God that Israel is winning. That is the bare fact. Gaza, most of it is in rubbles, destruction. I wonder how many decades it's gonna take to rebuild that place and by whom. One thing I do know is the fact that that one singular civilian who was in Gaza, because I do not believe that there are more than one people that were innocent, that were civilians. So that one person, for that one person, if you do really care for that one person, I don't know who they are, if they exist, but for that person, those of you, the lying legacy mainstream media, and the rest of the ugly supporters of terrorists, if you do really care for that one human soul, you will call for terrorist Hamas to surrender, to release all those innocent people they kidnapped from their homes on October 7th, 2023, so that this war will end. That is it. But you all are excited because you love the bloodshed. You are wicked, evil people. You just thought that they would have done some damage to Israel. But take a look at that region. There's turmoil, chaos, destruction, war everywhere. But Israel is waxing stronger, doing what it should do, standing guard on behalf of the rest of the world, including you who support terrorists. I do not understand the obsession about Israel, but one thing I do know, the God who keeps Israel doesn't sleep. He doesn't take a snooze. He is not absent. If you haven't noticed, God is in this war fighting with, for, and on behalf of Israel. So wake up, guys. Go tell your pet terrorist Hamas to surrender. Release the hostages so that that one person who's a civilian in Gaza can breathe.